Alright, hey YouTubians. This video is going out to all of the people that can absolutely shred and shoot super fast, but never actually hit anything that they're aiming at. Okay, I joke a little, but seriously, today we're going to go over the fundamentals of shooting a handgun. It's not all about shooting fast. You build speed through repetition and doing it more and more and more, but you kind of need to be able to hit what you're shooting at to start with. So I'm going to take you guys through some of my setup and some of my shooting techniques that I do to get me on target and hitting on target, and then we just speed that up. So let's dive right on in. Okay guys, so the very first thing I do when I get to the range is load all of my mags to maximum capacity and then shoot those mags literally as fast as I can. I'm just joking, obviously. Actually, when I get to the range and get what I'm doing set up, I actually start with dry fire practice. So making sure that you have a cleared gun. I don't even have a mag in here right now. But I'll set up a target. I'll literally just stand offhand, get my sight picture, and then break my trigger. Reset my trigger, sight picture, break the trigger. Same thing, sight picture, break the trigger. When I am shooting a handgun, I cannot stress to you guys the importance of the front sight, right? So the back sights on target pistols will always be blacked out. You'll have a 3-dot system on combat handguns or something like that. But if you guys always notice, they always do something special with the front sight on any handgun. And if you're gonna make an upgrade to your front sight, whether it be like a fiber optic like this one or a tritium dot, or just target black sights is fine. I've seen people take fingernail polish or a small bit of like white paint or something, but you guys need to focus not just on the front sight, but a point on the front sight. Too many people say they're focusing on their sights and then they get blurry sights and then the target's blurry behind them. You need to focus your attention 100% on your front sight and lay that front sight over whatever you're shooting at. Your target is going to appear blurry, and that's absolutely fine. As long as you have that front sight 100% crisp and clear, lay that over what you're trying to shoot, break your trigger. There's only two things that really matter. That's your sight picture and your trigger. And what I mean by that is that as long as your sights are aligned and on target and you don't move that while you're pulling the trigger, you're going to hit what you're shooting at. Now, there are some caveats to that, like your grip and other things that we will go over here real quick, but that's basically just to keep you on target, follow up shots, being able to shoot faster, and being able to get your sight picture more consistently on target faster. You've seen guys shooting their handguns upside down and all kinds of fancy stuff, shooting them two-handed. So, I mean, if grip was super important, they wouldn't be able to do that when it comes to hitting targets. And grip is super important, don't get me wrong. It's just not super important for hitting your target one time. So when you're trying to get your sight picture, there's a phrase or a term that we use. It's called equal height, equal light. And essentially, we're trying to put our front sight post flush, the top of it flush with our rear sight, and right in the middle to where there's equal light on each side and equal height. So we'll have 3 points, your front sight and it's one rear sight with that notch giving you 2 points behind it. One here and one here, right? So we put this guy right flush with the top, right dead center in the middle, and that'll give us equal height, equal light. The next thing we're gonna do is work on breaking our trigger, right? You cannot jerk or push having enough finger. I put the middle of my index finger pad in the trigger housing itself. 99% of your triggers that you have out there are gonna have a wall, and then you're gonna be able to feel that break, and that's when the shot's gonna go off. So you're gonna be able to anticipate and know when that is. Flinching something completely different. And if you do a lot of dry fire and stuff like that, and the more you shoot, it'll help mitigate that. And that's just essentially reacting to your shot before the shot itself. So you'll work through that. The only thing I'm gonna be focusing on is my front sight and working through the trigger, meeting the wall, holding my front sight exactly where I want to hit, and then breaking my shot. So let's give it a go here. That was my first 5 out of the handgun today. Mind you, when I even show up to the range, I did do probably 3 or 4 minutes of just dry fire practice altogether. That was my first 5 through the mag at 7 yards offhand. We'll walk up here and take a look at it, and I'll kind of talk you through it. All right, guys, so there's 2 here and 3 in here. These 2 were my first 2. Kind of seen where I was hitting, walked it up just a touch. These are my last 3. That's a decent group, like I said. We're gonna walk over here, go back to 7 yards, shoot 5 at this one, see if I can't tighten it up a little bit. I can't stress to you guys enough how important it is to dry fire at home and get good with your handgun while it's empty. That'll do nothing but make you better when it's loaded and you're actually at the range, to allow you to hit targets and actually have fun shooting. So let's get back, try another 5. All right, here we go. I've got 5 loaded up. We're gonna run top right this time. Remember here, front sight, front sight, front sight the entire time you're working the trigger. Find that wall, front sight where you want to hit, break the trigger. I cannot stress to you enough how important it is that you do not have to be shooting fast to be shooting accurate. The speed will come after the accuracy. You can't shoot really fast. You can't start by shooting really fast and then somewhere in there build accuracy. You can start with the fundamentals, build accuracy, build precision, and then speed that up and make it faster. That's how this process is supposed to work. So don't worry about buying 2 boxes of 9mm and trying to burn them up in a day. Buy 1 box of ammo, whatever it is, shoot that, but make every single shot meaningful. Learn something from it. So anyway, I just shot 5 at the top right. Let's go look at it. Okay, so these were my last 5 right here. I did tighten it up some. We're getting closer at that 7 yards to that one whole group, which is what you should be, it's what we should all be striving for, right? The idea is to shoot whatever you're shooting at and make the hole not get any bigger, but that's absolute perfection. This is definitely acceptable accuracy. So we're gonna walk it back and set something else up and try it. So I'm gonna come out with you really quick with a little tip, something that I like to do when I'm at the range, especially by myself. And I don't have other guys around me watching me trying to critique what I'm doing, because it's really hard to tell when you're making a mistake by yourself. You can't see yourself. And in your mind, you probably think everything's right, and it's probably not if you're not getting shots on target the way you want them. Anyway, I'll set my phone up in like slow-mo mode to where I can see myself and my grip and my trigger pull and everything else, and I'll video myself shooting in slow motion and then re-watch that to make sure that the muzzle's not doing anything funny, make sure that I'm not jerking the trigger once I've got it to that wall. These are all very important things that if you do them in the midst of trying to shoot an accurate group, you're never going to have consistent accuracy. So try videoing yourself, replaying it back to yourself, and watching it and seeing if you can catch any of your own mistakes. Okay, so when you feel like you have everything fundamentally sound, and by fundamentally I mean like the big 3, first and foremost your front sight, focusing on it, making sure that it's staying on target absolutely no matter what everything else is doing, because if that front sight doesn't move, it doesn't matter what you're doing. When you break your shot, if your front sight stays in the same spot, you're gonna hit the same spot consistently. Second, being a consistent trigger pull or trigger squeeze. The more you guys shoot and get consistent at breaking your shot, the faster your follow-up shots are gonna be, and then the faster you can shoot. Third, being your grip, and we will go over that probably in a different video. Grip is important, especially for follow-up shots and for consistent accuracy, being able to see your front sight the exact same way. There's one more thing, and that's when you have your gun and you bring it up into your sight picture. Don't have your gun at a point and try to duck your head into it, right? So stand tall, bring your gun up into your plane of view. Focus on the front sight, break your shot, and everything's gonna happen, right? So when you get to doing that very consistently at 7 yards, step it back, which is what I'm gonna do now. I'm gonna go back to, I don't know, 10 or 12 yards. That's gonna make everything that you're doing just a little bit wrong kind of amplified. The farther you get away, the farther you start to see your mistakes. So I'm gonna load up 5 and run 5 at, say, 12 yards. Let's see what we can do. Okay guys, so that's my 12-yard group. I don't want to beat a dead horse here. You guys can pretty much see what's going on. So I'm gonna walk you back and finish this video up. Kind of some closing remarks. Hey guys, so I hope during this video you guys have got the importance of accuracy over speed. When you're shooting like this, it's way easier to shoot like this and speed it up and still have shots on target than it is to be shooting everywhere. There's a lot of great YouTube videos out there on fundamentals. If you guys have watched this one and you've enjoyed what you've seen, which we always hope you do here at Gunology, but if you have watched it and you have liked what you've seen, please like and subscribe to the channel. Try sharing this video with someone else that you may think may benefit from this. But as always, I'm Jansen with Gunology. We appreciate you guys watching today.